G'day punters, welcome back to our rapid fire show this week. We've got Jason as a party covering the Melbourne stuff. G'day Jason. And John Walter from racingwatch.com.au covering or helping me cover the Sydney stuff. So let's talk about last week. We had a good week. It was a good day and we seem to continue delivering.
Inspirational girl. We're all over that. And congrats, you did use the N-word on Hitotsu PD, even if you should be sending some flowers to Mickey D for his slaughter from barrier to box on pinstripes. But anyways...
Who got booted off the horse quicker, MD or R. Dolan, or has he not been booted yet?
Well, yeah, I mean... Well, we summed that up right. Barrier 15, R. Dolan, opposite way. We were against it. It turned out to be right. So
it was like they gave it a run when it was not half fit like that. It was over racing everything just to get rid of the jockey. Well, they didn't have the ball to get rid of him, so they gave it a run where it wasn't suited, so they could get rid of him. It was very strange.
Where does he go now? Rosehill Guineas?
I think that's where. Yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, they want to get to a race like the Queen Elizabeth or something, I guess. But
good luck.
Yeah.
Won't be winning that.
Okay, let's get into it, guys. We've got Rosehill Saturday. Weather is okay, I think, by the looks of it. Heavy 10 currently. It'd probably be better than that, I'm saying. Maybe an 8, maybe a 7, who knows. But I can tell you that the rail true, typically Rosehill, you want to be wider than 6. Rails and runs okay, but once you get to the straight, you want to be wider than 6 off the inside. That seems to be the best ground if you look at recent meetings to support that evidence. And Flemington, we've got an unusual rail, 5 metres. Don't often have that rail position. I think last time we did was Oaks Day last year. There has been a 6 metre rail more recently in January, I think it was. It was it was New Year's Day actually, Chester Manifold Day there at Flemington. And look, both times the inside wasn't the best place to be. What do you say about that, Jason?
Yeah, look, they said there's a bit of scuffing that they're trying to cover up on the track, particularly in the straight. So I think it'll be typical Flemington. They might come off a little bit, but down the straight, they're predicting that they'll go both sides, but they won't come down the middle of track manager. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays during the day, as usual, sort of assessing. But the rail's been a pretty good place to be at Flemington recently. So it'll be interesting to see what they do early there.
Indeed. I think we start off with the Ajax Stakes in Sydney, John.
Hi, time honoured, another, 7-horse tops field. Let me get the betting up for you. So Ellsberg, dominant favourite, $1.80. I think it's eased. It was into like 160 last time. I saw Brutality 5 to 460, Just Folk 750 on the backup. No, it's not on the backup, pardon me. $9.50 Kiku, $11 Blue Soldier, $12 Wairiri Falls, $101 Jalmari going for the Shelby 66 setup by the look of it.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's any value in the favourite. Certainly, it's clear top pick and should be able to get away with this race, but I won't be backing it, that's for sure. What about you, John?
I agree. It's obviously just. It looks a very similar race to last start, except it's got to go that extra 200 metres. It looks like it's going to get that similar sort of control of the race like last time, but everything certainly fell in its favour there, and you've got sort of added 200 metres are going to help Brutality. Just Folks lobbed into this race coming out of a CF4, obviously, and likes it wet, so that's an added dynamic. Kiku certainly can improve off what it did behind Forbidden Love and Wairiri Falls. I think it's a harder race than last time, and certainly I'm not confident to back anything to beat it, but certainly can't take 180 at all, not even close.
I suppose if you're looking for horses to fill the hole, maybe Just Folk is the type of animal that could do it.
Well, it just looks like it's going to tag up. It doesn't look anything exciting of a horse, but its best runs are certainly on rain affected, and to be only beaten 3.5 by Tofane in a weight for age race, surely pretty solid form for this and a good setup. 12, 14, 15. Onto a wet track and shouldn't be far behind Ellsberg in the run.
And B. Preble goes on to one of Weller's here, Wairiri Falls. What do you say about it? I know it's a long price.
Yeah, and it's an interesting horse. I thought it was disappointing last start, and I thought that race was pretty weird. Obviously, a bit of a break between runs too. Coming into this, what is it? Nearly 4 weeks.
Days,
so, bit of a funny setup, and it doesn't look like a really heavy track suits it, and a mile sort of sees it out. So it's probably not a horse I'd probably rather try and find Just Folk, even Kiku, than before I'd find Wairiri. But nothing surprises me with that camp.
Well, for me, the favourite wins. Don't want to back it though. Can't entertain backing it at anywhere near that price currently on offer to 4 to 6. And I'm saying that Just Folk would be the Quinella horse for me if I was looking that way.
Agree, and we're both picking holes in brutality. He certainly looks at target for a Doncaster or something like that when they put the blinkers back on one more run, probably when he comes into his own.
Okay, let's move on to the, what are we talking about now? The Far Lap Stakes.
Race 6.
The race that's, well, one of the races that's been moved around a bit with scratchings from the Waller camp.
And there could be some more, that's the problem. But at the moment, Fangirl, $2.15, Silent Impact, $6.50, $8 Roots, $11, Never Been Kissed, $14, Mr. Mozart, $16, Cape Breton, $20 Character, $20 Extreme Flight, $21 Gracie Styler, $21 Sandstock, $31 Son of Sangio.
Well, I'm trying to work out how the favourite gets beat here, even though I don't think the map's any good.
Yeah. Is it? So you think the fillies are solid candidates for all these races? They're obviously split up everywhere. It's very interesting.
Well, I don't think I want to be on Silent Impact. I mean, to me, the horse...
It'll probably go Monday.
Yeah, okay, so that takes a little bit more speed. I mean, the worry for me is how quick they're going to go here. If Silent Impact comes out, then it probably leaves it to Son of Sangio or Never Been Kissed to take up the running, I'd say. I don't particularly want to come into the favourite, but I'm just trying to work out...
Bit by default.
Yeah, it's almost one of those races, and they're awful races for me to be betting in. I couldn't back the favourite at the current price, but I don't think it's an unfair price.
I'm pretty much same boat, except if you're trying to back Never Been Kissed second up off a heavy track run where it's led and gone hard, heavy 10. So now it's got to do the same sort of thing here, which is never easy to sort of work out what they're going to do. But it's probably the horse I could expect to beat the favourite. And other than that, I agree with you that it's a very skinny race and the favourite looks very well placed, but not the sort of rider and position in run you want to probably find.
What about boys? What did you think about Roots here? Was right. Just got beat by Fangirl back in the spring and was pretty good in open grade first up, and trial in between shows a signal of intent. What did you think about her?
Why is it? Well, I understand it's trial, but it's missed. It must have missed a run.
Yeah, it's been scratched a few times, obviously, 4 times in fact since it's had its last start, and it's now 30 days off or so, 31 days off coming into this. I don't know. It's look, I've marked it 10 to 1, so I can't pot it and say it's got absolutely none. But and I don't really think that Silent Impact runs a strong 1400, but that's just 1500, I should say.
Yeah, I thought it was weak last start.
So I just see the favourite as winning, but it's going to be get back for it, I think, and I don't want to be taking that price, that style of animal. That's all. I think
it defied the pattern at Warwick Farm when it won, but and it's sort of untapped, but it just scares me that you're trying to jump from 12 to 16 even with the trial. What it starts 12 to 15 with the trial. It's not an easy thing to do with a possible setback. It's a scary Waller horse. Scary race, don't like it.
Favourite probably wins, but I can't be betting in the race myself. Okay, on to race 8, which is the Coolmore Classic. Once again, this has moved around a bit. We've got Jay Ford, Lucky Jay, getting the ride here on Espiona.
This is his speciality. These few races a year, he normally gets thrown on something down in the weights, and sometimes he picks up the pieces. $3.70 Espiona, $6 Lighthouse. That's the horse on the backup. $6.50 XP Pat, $7 Hinged, $7.50 Promise of Success, $12 Wonderbar, 17 Crones, 21 Miravision. I'm only going further because I half like one down here. 21 Vangelic, 26 A Tissue, 26 Polly Grey, 60's the rest.
Tell us about the one you like, John.
I just feel that Polly Gray was given an absolute barrier trial the other day, and I feel that it's going to be a race where not many of them run out the mile too strongly. And this is a horse that's at least got 2,000 metre form, inside draw, absolutely loves the wet, and it's 25, probably even better, around 30 to 1 around in a race that looks very difficult. And I'm just finding it hard to line up the fillies. I don't really want to charge into Espiona. I think Lighthouse is well set up on the backup. Probably couldn't have finished much closer than it did last week, the tempo and the way that race was run to Forbidden Love. And I think that's got to be pretty strong form. I don't like Expat or a lot of the others. So the Lighthouse and Polly Gray from me.
Look, I think there's probably 7 genuine chances that could win it. I do have Espiona marked favourite, but slightly longer than what the current bookmaker price is. I can't disagree with you regarding Polly Gray. I do have it shorter than the market, so I'd give it as sort of a bolder's chance.
I wanted you to say 500s. 500s.
No, I've got it marked shorter than the current market price.
Cool.
And I could definitely have something on it. Interesting runner here is, I know it's Kathy O'Hara, a tissue here has had the trial since the last start or the first up run. After they said it must trial, it went absolutely terribly after being supported into 11-4. You know, is it the Waller number in the race that on its best with the blinkers off could trouble them?
I like that we've both found Waller runners that are 25s rather than 5 to 2 or something crazy. I much rather find them at that end of the market than the other end.
Yeah, well, to me, a tissue and Polly Gray are wild cards in the race that could actually win it. I mean, odds are that they won't, obviously, but given the price, but they are both currently around the 33 to 1 mark, I think. So, you know, I could entertain putting a peanut on both of those in the race, but wouldn't be surprised, as I said, if any one of 7 won it.
Sounds good to me. Do you want to talk about our superstar friends at
Top Sport? Indeed. If you're betting this weekend, of course, you've got black type on the card. Group 1 in Melbourne means you're going to get on to win at least 10,000 when they go up, 25,000 late. You've got best of best options. You're always going to get a fair bet. And if you don't have an account, punters, make sure you open one, and you will be given an opportunity. And obviously, you won't get chopped, put it that way. You might get chopped in terms of what you want, but you're not going to get chopped below the minimums.
It's good. I like it. We're off to Melbourne.
Okay. Yes, we're going to Melbourne now. Jason, where are we starting with you? I think we're starting in the size produce. Is that right?
We are.
Size produce. Let's roll the dice. $5. Sir Bailey $5.50. Bonheur $6. Merchant Prince $7. Man in the Mirror $9. $14 Brosnan. $15 Jamara. Well backed. 18s into 12s to Martra. $31 the rest. I don't know if you like something out wide, but I'll give you a quote.
Look, I like this race. Keen to back Sir Bailey here. Looking for horses. Traditionally, horses that win this race are coming off either a 1,300 metre or 1,400 metre last start, or they've had a 2 or 3 runs in at 1,200. Really like Sir Bailey's win last start. A lot of promise. This horse sort of was going away from them over the line over 1,300. It's Jamaica's a colt out of Jamaica. It was running away from Merchant Prince that day. Merchant Prince subsequently went straight into the Blue Diamond. Looked like they gave it a barrier trial, went back to last and ran home really well. To be honest, should have run top 4 in that race. So that form stacks up from winning that maiden at Sandown. I think barrier 1 here, Jay Carr, I think he's a certainty to run the trip. And with these 2-year-olds, that's not a given for all of them. So very, very keen here at the $5.50. I think it's a very good bet, Sir Bailey. I think Merchant Prince off that run is a chance. I think this is a setup for Moody, but I just don't think when Sir Bailey beat it, Sir Bailey was going away from it on the line. So I think he's got its measure. The one I'll be saving on in this is Man in the Mirror. It ran 5th last start on that real heavy 10 day at Randwick, and I thought ran home pretty well. If you go back to its first start, it beat Paris Dior. Paris Dior's gone on and run second in that Millennium race behind Extravagant Star and beat Sajardin. And Sajardin's come out and won the Todman last week. So I know it's not a vintage year for 2-year-olds in Melbourne or Sydney, but I just think that Man the Mirror form does stack up somewhat in terms of I won't say the A grades, but the better level 2-year-olds in Sydney. I think it's important here. Annabelle's brought 3 down for this, and J-Mac goes on to this. I just thought second up with that hard run first up on the 10 over 12, that it could be in a chance here, and I'll be winning on it too. So 2 bets for me: Sir Bailey, my primary, and Man in the Mirror. I'll also be winning on it, and an absolute roughie blowout. I don't think it can win, but I do think those 2 Annabelle horses, Noble was a really nice run at its first start. Barrier Trials have just been okay, and Best Marty. It's won over 1,300 at Wying last start, which I give a big tick to. I think it could run on into a place here for those going for the multiples. But in terms of the favourite, Let's Roll the Dice. There's a big spruik on this. Missed the start, did a lot wrong, was very, very green. Attacked the line really well on a heavy track over 11. I'm against it here, just up to 1,400. As I said, does a lot wrong. I think it's going to be a lovely 3-year-old, but I'm just taking a stand against it.
It's a nice horse, Man in the Mirror, and a big difference going 1,000 metres first start in a race. Said beat Paris Dior, that race looks okay, but then going 1,200 heavy certainly can improve significantly.
Yeah, I think PD's giving it none though, so if it wins, I just thought
not none. I just got it longer than the market. That's all. Look for me. I'm going to have something on Let's Roll the Dice. I'm going to take the risk there. I know what you're saying, and you've made a good case, and certainly no moral in the race, but I just think it. Around the odds it is currently, and it might well get better, it's worth having something on, but not with a great deal of confidence.
I like it, head-to-head. All right, next.
Next race, we've got race 5, Jason, which is...
CUNY.
I'll
read your market quickly. Argentia 320, Yearning $5, $6.50 Artica, Barbarator $6.50, $10 Lavish Girl, pretty amazing 10, CUC 11, 26 Biscayne, 31 Mokalula, Stray 41. Wow, he sets him a task. $61, hardly sweet.
Very keen on this race. Some nice fillies here have done some good things early, and they're biting off a bit more than they can chew here. Certainly the bottom horse, So You See, the dynamic maiden winner. Wish they weren't running here and going to a midweek or something. I'd be all over it. But nonetheless, Argentia is the favourite here. Thought she was disappointing last start, to be honest. They went slow. She was right behind the leader, had plenty of time to peel out. And I just didn't think she attacked the line well enough. Only had to pass Lavish Girl. Up to 1,600 metres here. I know she's a Frankel, but to me, jury's out on whether she gets a 16 at Flemington. So I'm taking a stand against a favourite, which means I'm super keen to bet aggressively. And the one I'm keen on here is Yearning. I cannot believe the price. It's an absolute each way bet of the day. You're getting a free shot. I can't see it missing a place. You're getting a free shot to win. Going back through its form, second in the Edward Manifold. In the spring, just got beat by Elusive Express. They won the 1,000 guineas. Bit of trouble in that race, granted, but look, Hinge has come out of that and franked the form. I think that's good fillies form. Tried her over the Wakeful when she was giving weight to everything else, and was pretty good. First up in that Argentia race, as I said, they crawled in front, leader dominated. She came from the back and attacked the line sensationally. She carried 59.5 that day, gave 3.5 to the winner. Back to level weights here. Second up, she will take a position from 4. Does not have to be back in the field. So anyone that's mapping it back, go back and look at that Edward Manifold race when she drew 3 and she was behind lead, which is where I expect her here in the first few. Whatever beats her will win. Very, very keen to bet on the race. The other one I looked at was Barb Raider. The barrier is problematic. I think they will go forward. It depends how much they have to use up early with I've also mapped Stray and Lavish Girl going forward. Could get trapped around the big turn there at Flemington with a short run to that big bend. So that's why it's elevated my confidence in Yearning each way all day. As I said, free shot at a win here. Should be right in the finish.
Look, I can't offer much on this race is what you've already covered, Jason, and I don't really have a position I want to take on it. I can't see a real edge in any of the
No,
runners
the
here
favourites.
for me.
If you're going to ever take this favourite on, this is it's the time too, isn't it? Like up to the mile off that pretty soft run. Like maybe it was a little bit flat off that first up run, but it's still got to now run to a mile. Either way, it's got to be a question mark at the very least.
Yeah, look, I can't play in this race, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Okay,
Newmarket.
we're on to that Newmarket.
You can play in this race. What a race. $3.80 Home Affairs, $3.80 Lost and Running, best horse in the planet, $11 Artorias, $13 Masked Crusader, 15 Swats That, 16 Quantico, 17 Snap Dancer, 19 Oxley Road, 21 Finance Tycoon. I thought this horse was bigger price, Count de Rupee. I don't know if it's firmed or not. 26 Levante, 26 September Run, 40's the rest.
Yeah, he summed it up. What a race. Look, I'll be honest, straight racing isn't my specialty, even though we got Home Affairs home in the Lightning. I think the market's probably got it right here. Certainly, we've got Home Affairs and Lost and Running clear top picks. I was all over Home Affairs for the Newmarket since Christmas, to be honest. So I'll stick with him here. I think, it's going to take a big effort with 56 to win this race, but I think it was a dynamic in the Coolmore. He was there to be beaten all ends up in that Lightning. It wasn't his grand final. I'm pretty sure they were aiming at this rather than the Lightning. This will be his last race in Australia before he goes over to Royal Ascot. And look, he looks really well placed here, coming down the grandstand. Is it going to be the place to be? We just don't know. It's going to be a watch and see the straight races earlier just to see how it pans out. Just in terms of the others, so I wouldn't talk you out of backing any of the two faves. Lost and Running, I don't like the synthetic hoof filler. Got to go to when they're going through that pain barrier the last 400 metres. Race 6 probably be a hard track by that time. Is that really what you want in your 550 kilos of power going through your feet? So that sort of turned me off it a bit. I went looking for Masked Crusader. I'm sure the TJ's the aim. They're only running in Melbourne because of the wet tracks in Sydney, and they don't want to get in. So it was pretty plain in the Lightning, and I'm expecting this to be a decent run, but peaking in the TJ. So I put the line through him. In terms of the roughies, look, I can't believe I'm saying this for anyone who knows me because I've just been bagging this horse non-stop. But if Artorias can get out of the gates here, dead set, and that's the biggest if ever, God, I mean, this will be the first time he's been set for a 1,200 metre race, properly since the Blue Diamond. I know the Coolmore, but it was after the Guineas. It was a bit of an afterthought. These guys are superstar trainers. They've picked out this race. He's always running dynamic sectionals. If Froggy could get him out the gates here, he'll be giving him plenty of kicks in the ribs, I'm sure. And if he can just get at midfield, I could honestly see Artorias with 51 running over them, getting 5 kilos off home and air from that Coolmore run. Roughies, Stat Dance, a good 1,200 metre record. I don't think it's a Newmarket horse, though. I went looking for everything else, and I couldn't find a lot. Oxley Road was good in the Oakley Plate, but I'm talking it's a 50-1 chance. So for me, Home Affairs, top pick, and I'll be backing Artorias as well. And it's a great race.
I hear what you say about Artorias in terms of sectionals. It did run the best last 6-4 and 2 rating of the day last start. For me, I'm against it. I've got it a lot longer than the current market. I can be wrong. I often am. But for me, I have to be totally against it. With Lost and Running, I think that the horse is a real challenger to the favourite, Home Affairs. It has been backed already. What worries me is what you've already mentioned, the synthetic hoof filler, and also the fact that it did seem to peak run on run last prep 14 days apart, and here it is 28 days. I know it's one fresh, and it was a dynamic win, and maybe this horse is now going to fulfil its promise, but it doesn't really seem like the ideal setup for me to be that confident. But I no surprise at all if it wins. I've got it and the favourite mark very close together. Home Affairs, yes, it can easily win for sure. Look, I did think there was one bolter in the race that was worth a mention, and that was Quantico, who went very well up the straight, produced a big number. And I do think this horse has trialled well. I think that you could argue that the other horse trialled much better than it, the stablemate, in that trial at Warwick Farm, Lost and Running. But for me, it's shown enough to give it respect. The only little bit of question in my mind is the fact that it was drawn 1 when it won up the straight there last time out, and here it draws out much wider, barrier 12. So, look, it might be in the best spot. We don't know, do we? I mean, that's the thing. But I do think at around the 20-1 mark, it's worth a nibble.
Yeah. Look, I looked at it and I just thought Snap Dancer, you can take the line. It beat Volpine down the straight. Snap Dancer beat Volpine. And then Snap Dancer's gone on and beat Promise of Success, or like in the Coolmore. So I thought my best roughie was Snap Dancer. I know the horse, know the owners, and I know it's flying. I know that they're having a crack here, but I just thought she was potentially the best roughie there. But look, top weights win this race. Like the best horses can win this race. Don't get put off by the weights. If you like one of the top weights, I think just put that aside. If you think it's the best horse, you think it can handle the straight, back it.
When Brock Ryan rips through the middle, right? When Brock Ryan rips through the middle at 50s, don't be surprised.
I wouldn't say that's the silliest comment ever. It's a horse.
I think Quantico's, I'm with Paul. I think Quantico's very dangerous and just looks a straight track horse. Always has looked a straight track horse. One of those dynamic turn of foot horses, 52.5. That he was born for these races, and I just know the Count de Ruby's not a miler, and all that I'm thunderstruck form, everything's very good, and I'm most scared of the jockey than the horse. If it had a rider, I'd be betting up, just at the price.
As I said, I think one of the two favourites can win this for sure, which is not saying much, but I think Quantico's a worthy price. That's all. So, but look, so far,
great race
on all the races we've covered, I'm not very confident this week at all. So I'm going to be betting pretty lightly, I think.
You've taken your money and run from last week. What's going on?
No, the last few weeks I've felt very confident and taken strong positions. It's just that this week I don't feel it. In terms of the races that we've covered, there's obviously some other races that we haven't covered that might be a bit different. Okay, let's get on to the Australian Cup.
Here we go.
Yeah. Prices there.
Think it over, 290, 460 Spanish Mission, 750 Duays, $8 Cascadian, 950 She's Ideal, 14 Call Sign Mav, 18 Maximal, $20 Delphi, 25 Yonkers, $31 Big Price Surprise Baby, 41 Ho Ho Khan, 67 Steel Prince.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a great demonstration of how poor our staying weight for age racing really is in Australia, isn't it? And it's really sad when you think about some of the greats we've had over the years, and in these races and other races. But it is what it is, and
it's a Group 2. It's a dead set Group 2 at best.
So the first thing you've got to go to is, are you backing Think It Over or not? I can't really pot his form, and I'll be honest. I've taken a position as I want to be against him, so I'm trying to justify why. Obviously had a great spring, but beating Shared Ambition, beating Skylab, beating Rock over 2,000 metres isn't really great form. Acknowledge he's won third at George Main, he's won a George Ryder, he's won a Chelmsford. I get all that. I'm just saying, here we are here, third up 2,000 metres. Do I want to be on him? Can he win? Sure. Am I going to back him? Absolutely not at the price. So speed here, I think Delphi's going to go a lot harder this start. I think he'll, with Zara on barrier 1, he'll be digging up and he'll be leading. And Call Sign Mav from 11, they've been pretty open that they're going to be very positive from the gate. So I'm thinking there's going to be pretty decent speed here. So I'm going to have two bets in the race as I usually do, especially when I'm against the fave. My top pick is Spanish Mission. Look, I think this is a masterstroke giving this to Moody after the Cup, and you've just got to get out of your mind that, he's a 2-miler, he's slow. That run in that Carline Cup over a mile, the speed was on, but it's a different horse. He's done it with Manigar. He's done it with a few horses, Moody. And for me here, I think Spanish Mission is the best animal, and I'm betting on whether Moody's put enough speed in his legs, and I believe he has. And you're betting on, J-Mac being able to get him not too far back from that gate there, and hoping that he can achieve that. I think the other bet in the race is Cascadian. And I'm tipping Cascadian in a Group 1 2,000 metre race. I will say when you isolate his head-to-heads, Cascadian in this race, I think he's raced Think It Over 5 times and never beaten him. And a couple of others in the race, I can't recall. It might have been She's Ideal as well. Don't quote me on that, but I just think this horse has gone the next level as a rising 8-year-old in the ranks. They went super slow last start, and he was able to sit and sprint, which was something he was never able to do in the past. His Flemington record, he's run second in a Cantala, third in a Cantala, and second in a McKinnon. On good threes, he's run really well. Could just see Ollie posing him up here from 2. I think he's going to get the run of the race. He's going to peel off. He's going to be in the finish. So, my primary bet will be Spanish Mission. I'll be also winning on Cascadian. Could be totally wrong, but that's how I'm betting on the race. I just want to bet against the fave, and I'm trying to find an angle of how I'll approach it. So that's how I'm rationalising it.
I'm going to say that Think It Over is a risk. Look, I still have
say moral then.
I still have a top pick. I've just got a few doubts whether the horse has come back as good as it did as last prep. And Spanish Mission, I think, is a great chance in the race. She's Ideal was a very good run last time, but I'm a little bit concerned that was it won't be able to reproduce that here. And I think that the bet in the race is Douay.
I can see why you'd say that. I can see why you'd say that. I looked at Douay as well. I think it's going well. Where do you think she gets to? Do you think he'll be aggressive, Josh?
No.
Or
no. So what he's going to try and do is get across, and I think the race for him sort of centers around what Yonkers does. So if Yonkers jams a little bit and tries to cross Think It Over, then there's a chance to sort of come in behind and try and get maybe the back of Think It Over, and that would be the ideal position. But it's not the sort of horse that you can be too aggressive on. So I'd say sort of midfield at best, but very tricky draw, and that's probably the worst part for JP in the race, because if it's midfield, he's like, this horse he's sat on it before, I think, but I don't know if he'd ridden it a race, but he's like the feel this horse is giving him both runs back. It's he doesn't like going to Melbourne, so I'd take it seriously that he's down that he's down there. And the horse apparently
I bet you he likes going to Melbourne after he took all the money last weekend, so I can't think he'd be too much against it.
He was already booked in for this, otherwise I'd say yes, but he was already booked in, and he gave up a few rides in Sydney to ride this horse. So he thinks he can, because it's good with mares, and you don't get too many opportunities to follow weight for age horses through, or he doesn't. So he thinks he's a sort of horse that can sort of knock up winning a few weight for age races. So that's his opinion.
Yeah, and I think that I thought both mares were riding it. Paul, you mentioned you thought that you weren't sure She's Ideal could reproduce last start. Why do you think that?
I just don't. I know she's won over 2,400 and she's won 3 races at 2,000, but I think her best figures are earlier in a prep over shorter distances. $70 SP last start. It was look, I can't pot the run, and I do have it as a chance. And if it wins, I'll be saying, why didn't I back that? Why didn't I save on it? So I could entertain saving on it, but for me, I really do think Douay's got a nice setup here into this race. And admittedly, the draw is a little bit sticky, and I think that's part of the reason why you're getting those prices. Otherwise, it'll be a lot shorter. But
it'd be ironic if Bjorn beat Josh after last week, coming down and scooping for Bjorn. So that would be interesting.
What attracted me with She's Idea was, in the spring, when she ran sixth in the Chelmsford second up, or seventh in Chelsea behind Think It Over. She SP'd $6, Think It Over SP'd 4, and then third up she bounced into the Kingston Town and beat Montefilia pretty easily over 2,000. So I just thought the close SP to Think It Over in the Chelmsford and then bouncing to win that. I think
I'll be saving on it. I'll be backing 2A, I'll be saving on it, but I'm just a bit concerned, and maybe we'll get a better price.
I'd rather back those two coming out of that race and Think It Over. That's the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to risk. I'm happy to risk
Think It Over. Yeah,
that's right. 2-1 favourite. I'm saying it should be longer, and I'll definitely be backing 2A. So in terms of, I don't have much confidence on the day in terms of the races that we've discussed. But of all the races that we've discussed, I really do think 2A is a really nice price and a really nice play.
Agree.
Okay, that's it for this week, guys.
Turn his music off. Now he's back.
Anything else you want to say, Azza?
No, I think it's a really great meeting. I mean, that 4 home 2, the much talked about horse, is in race 8 at Flemington. The Anisham horse that's got the huge spruik on it. Apparently, the best horse in the world, and
Which race?
Race 8.
Race 9.
No, race 8 at Flemington, number 11, 4 home 2. Has been.
I got clicked on it. It's giving me the wrong thing. Yeah.
And in funnily enough, in that race, there's a horse down the bottom called Ain't No Deal Done that's coming back from an injury. That's a very, very smart horse. So hoping that he can come back. And then that Kiss on All Four Cheeks from Perth is in that same race. So it's a really interesting meeting. Very, very deep, all the fields.
Plenty of angles in all the races we've covered, really, except for maybe a couple of small fields in Sydney. There's a lot of angles.
Yeah. So this is a premier meeting on the day, no doubt, with a dry deck. It'll be great.
So your most confident plays, Jason, are?
Of the ones we covered, certainly Sir Bailey with a bet on Man in the Mirror and Yearning each way, and in race 1, Nana Gui, the 2-year-old race, pretty keen on it. It's about $4 as well. Yeah.
Okay, John, what about you?
Polly Gray each way for me. That's it. And then there's a couple of roughies in Melbourne. That Cornico, Count de Rupee, and Dewey as well. But I'm not going out of my way to back it.
I think we've covered it pretty well. Thanks, punters. Hope you get some gold out of this week. Again, may we continue to roll, even though we're a little bit less confident this week than we have been prior. We'll catch you on Monday for the review.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.